This conference will now be recorded.
Last class we completed this advances, and that's completed, and we'll go to the next topic that I had given to the when customer advance to you only. Please do that. And if I go through the contents, I just want to do this parallel ledger next and final. This is the important stage actually. Okay. So in this course, because we are going to redirect to controlling model next. So when you're trying to understand controlling model, you should have a clarity about the parallel ledger. That's sorry, financial reports. But before that, let me give you some idea about parallel ledger and parallel currency. What does it mean? See the parallel ledger. So what is ledger in SAP? In SAP, parallel ledger means ledger means under this or else parallel ledger I can just explain in this way. Ledger consists statements or else ledgers are used to withdraw statements. Okay, withdraw statements like P&L account or balance sheet like this. That means when you're using this ledger means when you're trying to withdraw this P&L account statement or balance sheet, we have to use which ledger. So what is the purpose? See the ledgers are used so or else this P&L account and balance sheet has to prepare as per government regulations to the country. So the where the this company is located, that has to be reported according to that. We cannot say that okay, I prepared balance sheet like my as per my convenience. No, there is a prescribed balance sheet P&L account that has to be prepared in that way. So these ledgers are ledgers will help you to withdraw the balance sheet as per the requirement. So what does it mean? See, when we are doing this basic configuration under this universal ledger, if you remember, we have accounting principle, assigned accounting principle to leading ledger, we call it. So leading ledger is a ledger which is used. A leading ledger is used to prepare financial statements of origin company's country. That means origin company country. That means our company is located in India, and we are supposed to use this leading ledger to prepare the finance statement. And also for that, we assigned the accounting principle. I already discussed about this accounting principle, if you remember. Accounting principles are used to prepare financial statement as per regulations. Say, for example, IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards, US GAAP, or you can go to Indian Accounting Standards, IAS, like this. So, whichever the things which used, according to that, we have to prepare it. So, these ledgers are used like this ledger is assigned with one accounting principle. Suppose assume that my company, which is basically what we are using, our company code basically B-21 is basically from India. So we are supposed to report to the Indian government. What if I have the branches in US? Just assume that if I have the branches in US, and I also need to report, need to report, or else just assume that in reverse way it's better. So our actually head our main branch is in US, and they are doing this operation in India. Just assume that. And obviously, if I'm doing some operation in India, I am supposed to report to the Indian government, and also I need to report US government. When I'm doing Indian government, I should use the report format IAS, Indian Accounting Standards, and for US I should use US GAAP, US generally agreed accounting principles. So that means when I'm preparing this, just assume that I want to make the entries in this way. I cannot say, okay, I'm preparing in India, I push the same report. No, they'll tell, I want this like this. There's a little bit changes in accounting treatment. The formats, they tell that they have to prepare the balance sheet in this way like that, and we have to prepare. So even though our operations in India, as the it's originally from US, and we are supposed to prepare the report for that financial reports to report to the US government because it's origin from US, obviously. So that means when we have this type of requirement, yes, what we can do, can we prepare two a company code? No, because the company code isn't basically, which is for Indian company, that means which is for the local body to report. But if I want to report that, I want to modify that accounting. If I modify, if I modify this report, so obviously that affects this one. So that I have to parallelly prepare one more report for US government. I have to prepare parallelly. That means what? Can I do entries two times? Okay, one entry for US Indian this one, another entry US GAAP. It's very difficult. Two times you have to do everything for US and other thing. According to that, that has to be prepared. No. So that's the reason what SAP made. SAP as SAP as introduces parallel ledger. Whenever you have some different reporting to be done, your same accounting, whatever you are doing here, whatever the account which you are doing here, you want to report it in a different way, then we can use this parallel ledgers. So generally, basically the company which is located in that base country, so to the local government, what we are reporting, we use this 0L leading ledger. This is a two-digit code, what we already understood. 0L leading ledger. This is we call it leading ledger. If you're reporting, if you're reporting the same thing, if you're reporting the same thing to you, the same accounts what you did here to the US government, then we have to use non-leading ledger. The name itself says non-leading ledger, means it's not actually leading, it's non-leading. It's in another ledger. So how we are going to do? So we have to activate this. That's it. Very simple. We have to activate. So how we can do this? So in the T code FINC underscore ledger, that is universal journal. So we have this leading ledger that's mentioned with tick mark leading. That is the leading. That's a standard SAP leading ledger 0L. And every like whenever you create any company, automatically this leading ledger will get connected to that company code. Every company code will get connected here. So for that respective company code, for example, for our company code BI-21, we have assigned accounting principle. We created our own accounting principle. That's a different reason, but I can create like IFRS other things. It's just in one code. That's it. Don't worry about that. It don't have direct impact on any reports, but we have to make it. So now, if I want, this is actually why I used the accounting principle for this B-21. This is our. So I want to report this. I want to report this to US government. What should I do? I want to create a non-leading ledger. I want to create a non-leading ledger. So how do you come to know which is non-leading ledger? See, other than this leading ledger, everything is non-leading ledger now. Everything is non-leading. So there will be only one leading ledger for one SAP, and other things everywhere you can see non-leading only. You can there many people created their own way of creating non-leading ledger. That's it. Even you can create your own, and or else you can use it whichever is already available. Not a big deal. You can create your own, or you can use whichever is already there. Suppose I create one non-leading ledger. Say for example, for US, I create it as U1. I create U1. Just assume. How can I do that? Go to new entries here, and I create UL and non-leading ledger HP HP21. Sorry, B-21 U1. Select standard ledger here. Okay, and save it first. Okay, so after doing this, you have to go to you have to select this and go to company code settings. Here there is no company because for leading it is get automatically get here. Whoever is required, they can get assigned. So I want my company to be used. So what I do, I'll mention my company here, BI Fund 21, and you can use different fiscal year also because generally, see, Indian companies use follows April to March. For US companies, it's going to be Jan to December. So according to that, we can use whichever the fiscal year which we want. Say for example, my company for the practice purpose, I used even if it is Indian company, I used Jan to December. I can use April to March for this. I can use this V3. I use standard only V3. And posting period variant, you can use whichever you want. So I can use mine only, or else you can create your own. And generally, we create a separate posting period. So just like the ledgers, whatever you accounting we have done, right? That's going to be updated in this ledger also. That should have in control. That's it. Just like another other book, it is getting created automatically. That's it for US. Okay, there is just in parallel book. Parallel ledger means parallel accountings are getting ready for US reporting according to their principle. This is the meaning of this. I can use mine only, or else you can use standard, or you can use my. Let me use mine only, whatever I created, BA121 for this also. If you want, you can create your own and you can assign it. So that the opening periods is going to be the same. And go to accounting principle from here. So is this ledger is assigned to company code and it is used productively. You should give no. You should give no and go to new entries here and give the accounting. I'll give IFRS here. International Finance or US GAAP, whatever you want, you can give it. That's it. That means I created this U1 and I assigned to my company. That means my company got one more accounting principle. And remember, this ledger, the second step, what you should do now, this ledger should be assigned to accounting principal. I tell you. So you do remember, if you create your own accounting principle, you have to assign it to ledger. We did this for our own accounting principle under this ledger. If you remember, under this parallel accounting, we created accounting principle already there, but we created a ledger. You go here, go to new entries and tell that IFRS can be used. IFRS can be used. U1 ledger which we created. Ledger group is already created. One second. So I think it's automatically get updated. Let me check out. It's very difficult to find here. Accounting principle. IFRS. IFRS is connected to this 0L. That can be connected to other ledger also, right? Oh, sorry. One accounting principle is for one ledger. We can do it here. So maybe I got a little bit confused here. Okay, this step is not required. Don't worry. So what's going to happen if you do that? See, I post one entry now. I post one entry. I go to FB60 and I post one journal entry to my company code. Now, after creating, what did I do now? I created a ledger. I created a ledger U1 for this, and I assigned to my company code. So that means I want to report it with IFRS. That is the accounting principle is IFRS. For U1 non-leading ledger U1. Now we go here and let us try to post one entry so that I'll show the differences here. I go to company code BI Fund 21. And I enter 1,000 rupees, and I use this GL and 1,000 rupees. So as usual, enter, and now simulate and save it. This is the normal case. I do this, but what's going to happen here? Go to display, and this is the normal view you see. Every time we see this, but if you go here to the general ledger view, I got that 0L and other ledger I got here. Other ledger. So if I go here, so do ignore this leading ledger, UL and predictive ledger. You ignore these two ledgers, which is get connected automatically. I tell you why it is connected automatically. But what we created 0L is ours actually. 0L and this one U1. So that means every time when you post in transaction, so it will update to two ledgers. In real time, it won't get update like this. DR and UL will not come because we have the control here. So here, some other people also create and they do some basic changes that will automatically get connected to our company code. But that not is required for us. You can ignore that. So here, 0L and U1 is our main ledger. That's the reason I mentioned even name here. So it is also updated. If I see, you have to notice one thing here. So whenever we have this 0L here, it is for Indian company and we are following Jan to December, and you can see this posting period is 9. What's the meaning of posting period 9? 9 means September. So I'm following US April to March for US company, US reporting. That is E1 ledger. If I select this, see this automatically get connected 6, changed into 6. That means what? System is following April to March. That is April, May, June, July, August, ninth period. So like that, it's automatically adjust the reporting period based on the accounting, like fiscal year what we maintain for that. Even we can control the period, like we using this mm, this posting period variant. This is the usage of this ledger. So that what's going to happen? It's get all the entries whatever you want to, whatever you create to the ledgers. This your Indian ledger. That means we have whatever you posted to this 0L, it will automatically update it to U1, so that you can report it to IFRS. Whatever the changes you can make it, you can make that changes. Say for example, what's going to happen? I tell you. See in India, as per my knowledge, in India, uh, we post like even a calculator or a fan will make it as an asset. But in US, small items they don't allow, they don't use, they don't allow to make it this asset. Say for example, if it is an asset, the value of an asset is more less than 1 lakh or something, some amount. So they should treat that as an expenses only. They should not treat that as an investment. So that means in India, if I'm doing a fan of 10,000 rupees value, it's a expenses here. But in US report, it should be an, sorry, it's a fan is an asset here. The same, like which I'm reporting to the US. I cannot tell that, okay, if fan is in India, this one. As per US only, I have to account it because I'm reporting here. So then the fan is going to be in US, 10,000 rupees is going to be expenses. So that means this adjustment. So I post this transaction, system post the transaction just like this. It will post to the ledger. But if I want to make this adjustment, I can make it only for U1 ledger. It should be adjusted to U1 ledger for reporting purpose, reporting to US. So how can we do this? We have an option for that. That means, see in FB60, I did this transaction. And there's a T code called FB50. We know FB50 generally we use it for GL to GL transactions every time. There's a tip, one more T code is there, FB50L. FB50L. So here you can notice one thing, that is this is a ledger group, and here it's not there. This is FB50 and this is FB50L. So that means if you want to post something to particular ledger, you already got to know that. So every entry is going to be duplicated here. Every entry is going to be duplicated in U1. But I want only U1 ledger to be adjusted, or else only 0L to be posted. Then I should use this ledger group. FB50. What can I do? I can go inside and I can select I want to post only to U1 ledger, like that. Here is the U1. Or else I want only 0L. It will not post to duplicate the entries. That is what. But if you want to post to U1 ledger, there's if only non-leading ledger to be posted, then two configurations to be done. Below configuration to be done before posting entries to ledgers U1 ledger, non-leading U1 non-leading ledger. How? So one thing is create a new number range in FBN1, a new number range which is not used till now, like that. Go to FBN1. and go to your company code BI-21 and intervals. So just check out what is that. There is a see 47 is there, 48 is not there, 20 is there, 21 is not there. Like let me create 21. Okay, I'll add here. I'll add. You can click on this plus mark and you will get it 21. Just what you can do now, you just copy this, change it to 21 series. So this is the first thing you should do. You can enter 99 up to the end of this arrow. You can enter 99. So the 21 number range which we freshly created, which is not used anywhere. Save this first. After doing this, assign allowed document types to U1 ledger. That means if you want to post that non-reading, you want to post any lesson, what are the document types which are allowed? We should tell the system actually. Every entry, like everybody cannot post every document type and but document things we should not allow. You can create a separate document type as well, or else you can use whichever is already available. What we can do, you have to go through this path. Actually, there is a path for that. There is no T code. T code is there, but we are not getting the T code. Where? So under this ledger, sorry, under this financial accounting global settings, we have document here, and go to document, and go to document types here. Sorry, document number ranges. No, sorry, document types. So define document type in a ledger. In a ledger. So this document types OBA7, which we have understood in the beginning. This is define document types in a ledger. Enter U1 and click OK, and tell the system the document type SA is allowed. For that, you should use the number range which we created, new one. That we should assign. We should not assign whichever the number range which is already there. If you assign 01, which we already used many times, system do not allow. It will show error. You have to assign the new one only. And save this. Done. These two steps after doing this, go to this FB50L. Normally, whatever the transactions you do generally, right, the same way. First change the company code, BF121, and enter the ledger, which ledger you want to specifically post. Okay, I want to post the U1, and enter whatever the entries you want to do. So let me take like some bank transaction or anything I want to do. So this entry is going to be updated only in U1 ledger. And save it, simulate and save it. So if you go here to the display, say if I click on this general ledger, you don't get the other general ledger. So that was there, other ledgers were there because it is only posted to U1. Similarly, you can post only to the 0L as well. Sometimes you want to post only the leading ledger, it should not update to US ledger. Then I can enter 0L here and asking the system. After activating parallel ledger, you can use this T code for ledger specific entries. So if you come here, if you see in this 0, last time when we posted in FB60 or 50, so I got this general ledger, but other ledger was there. But other two ledgers will come. UL will come because you know that UL something is automatically connected, but you don't get that U1. That option is that UL is coming and 0L. UL is connected automatically. So that is due to some reasons, but it is not our ledger. It's only updated to the zero ledger. It's not updated to U1 ledger. Got it? Is it clear, Nagalakshmi,
Yes, sir.
Deepa, Arshita?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sure? Are you clear?
Yes,
Are you
sir.
clear? Any doubts? Okay. So this is actually parallel ledger. Before that, I have one more topic here. There's a two types of ledgers are there. One is non-leading ledger, which we understood also. Another is the extension ledger. So non-leading ledger and extension ledger. Okay. So that what we seen is the non-leading ledger, and there is one more option of extension ledger is there. Okay. So the extension ledger and non-leading ledger, both ledgers serves same purpose. Same purpose means still now whatever I explained, the same concept is going to be the same qualities or same usage of that ledgers are both are same. Non-leading ledger is what I said, and there's a concept of no extension ledger that is also there. So because if you come here, when I was creating this non-leading ledger in FINC underscore ledger, that is in universal ledger. See, whenever I selected this U1, so there is a one more option of extension ledger, standard ledger and extension ledger. The difference of extension ledger and standard ledger is very simple. So non-leading ledger duplicates all entries of leading ledger, which you already said. See, extension ledger also do the same thing. Extension ledger also same, but the main difference is but it creates a new entry in database. Database means everything whatever we are doing, it has to go and store, right? Everything whatever you do, it has to go and store somewhere else. So it's create new entry in database for each and every entry, duplication entry. That means one entry in zero ledger means that means an entry in zero ledger, the database, and an entry in UN. That means it's going to create two entries for each. If you have two ledgers, it will create two entries in data. That's storage. That means imagine you have 1 lakh entries means it's going to be duplicate 1 lakh entries, another entries. The same entry is going to be 1 lakh entries is going to be created. Same entry. The debit and credit, everything is going to be, it's going to be duplicate. So if you have 10 lakh entries, 10 lakh. So the database storage, think of it. It's going to consume 50% of the entries capacity. So that's the reason what happened. It wasn't big problem for big companies who generates a lot of parallel. Like if I want to report it to US, okay. If I want to report it in multiple countries, then I will create multiple non-leading ledgers. So then it's going to create multiple one entry, so multiple duplicate entries, the same entry. So to avoid this database storageation, they have SAP introduced this to avoid database storage space for duplicate entries of non-leading ledger. In S4HANA, SAP introduced extension ledger. Extension ledger serves all the extension ledger serves all the features of non-leading ledger, but it won't create duplicate entry in database. Database means in backend. Okay, in backend it won't create duplicate. I hope you are getting my point. So let me show you one more like extension ledger. So the simple thing is it won't, that is, it's already entered here. I'll show you one extension ledger, the difference. The same concept I'll configure. I'll create one more number range. 21 I created, right? I'm going to add 22 now. I'm going to create one non-leading extension ledger. I'm going to create one 22 I created, and extension ledger I'm going to create. So U1 I created, I create U2. I create U2. It's not a non-leading ledger, it's extension ledger. It is, I select here not standard, I select this extension. Whenever I selected extension here, it is mandatory that I should enter the underlying ledger. Underlying ledger means from which, because as it's not going to create their own entry in that database. That means in database, it does not create an entry. In database, it will create an entry, it will create and it will show in database. But here it does not create any database. That means it should have an underlying ledger. That means we are from which ledger it has to take the data to show. I show you that. It may not be very clear now. Just select this 0L and enter and do the same thing. Select the company code and assign the company code. See here, if you notice, you might have noticed why the company, like I got UL and DR, that automatically get connected. UL and the DR, right? That are additional ledgers which you see. The reason is, so if you select this extension ledger, if you give this underlying ledger is 0L. So the companies, whichever the companies are using 0L, all company code automatically come here. That's the reason our company get connected automatically to the ledger. So for in asset accounting also, we created our own accounting principle to avoid this. If you clearly notice that one. So we have done the accounting that asset accounting and asset have separate accounting principle. and then we used it at the time of accounting principle because it's going to be connected to multiple ledgers. That's the reason. 0L. Now, so when you enter this underlying ledger, it's going to be this one. So or else I can enter U1. I'll leave the U1 here, whichever already created. And now you come and check here company code. You don't get any company code. Huh, U1. Is it U2 it's showing, right? Action ledger. One second. Is it U1? And standard and journal entries and other full posting journal to valuation differences standard entry. So it will get connected to our country, but whichever the companies are using this U1, it's going to be automatically updated. 0L if I enter, it will get connected, but it's going to be updated to 0L is going to be updated. The see whichever if I enter 0L here, the companies whichever is using 0L, it will get connected, and also it is going to update the entries to other current companies whichever they are using that 0L. But if I enter U1, other company codes will not get affected. If I enter U1 here, because U1 is used by only my company code, always enter underlying ledger, the other non-leading ledger. You can enter 0L also, but not a problem. So once it is done, enter here and save this. Save this. So or else you can go to a company code and find your company code. It's already there. You can notice only our company code as this, but other company code simply it is there because it's connected because our IFRS is connected according principle. You can notice all company code has IFRS or some posting period. Wherever something is connected, it automatically get connected. So ignore that in this demo system. Just concentrate on the topic. What you can do here, select this and go to accounting principle and enter. You can enter your US GAAP or else IFRS again. Because IFRS why I'm entering, because I'm reporting the same US company with the extension ledger concept. That's it. Yes, okay. After doing this, also do these two entries. Also do these two steps. You see, this is already we have done. I have to assign this document type again to the U2 ledger. So what should I do for that? I open this, just go back. Again click here and select U2 here. Does not exist. U2 is not yet saved this one, sorry. I have to save this, right? So do this. Now let me come here and U2 came here and do that same. What's happening? SPRO. So go to new entries and enter. Again, essay document type. I use only essay document for this ledger. And 22 is the number range. You cannot use number range which is already used. Save this. It is done. So now let me go and post one entry normally in FB 50 or 60. FB 50. I'll post one entry. And save this. So this one is coming. Oh, I forgot to assign fiscal year. I'm sorry. I forgot one step here. So I have assigned, but I didn't assign the fiscal year and other things and all, right? Only accounting principle I assigned. For you to ledger, you to company code settings, select your company code, just double click on this, and you have to assign the accounting principle. Accounting principle I assigned already, right? IFRS. And actually, whenever you use this one, it's going to be fixed, this fiscal year variant. But everything is okay here. Where the error is coming then? Okay, it is selected K4 here. The fiscal year should be same. Then what it's showing, I'll go to ledger here and I'll assign this 0L. Let me check out and save this. And now I go here and now it is U2 as K4 and 0L as K4. So U2, it has taken as it's an extension ledger, it has taken the fiscal year variant automatically from the company code. It's not able to change it now. So here posting period variant we can control. So then the underlying ledger, whatever I said, the underlying ledger, and the extension ledger should have the same posting fiscal year. So that's the reason it's asking. So if I double click on this, we go here and company code settings, that is already there. So that has already been, come with K4 because K4 which you used it. Okay, so that's how it's going to be connected. So now after saving this, then I can come here and redo this transaction. And simulate and save it. So it is posted now. Here, when you are doing this display and general ledger, we get other ledgers. Here we get that U2 and U1 both. One is leading ledger, another is 2 or none. Well, U2 is an extension ledger. You get the same entry, not a problem. And also you can post the same transaction just like in FP50 or FP50L. Ledger-wise posting also you can do it. The only change is in database it won't replicate. I show you this entry, and this is the today's entry which I have done. This is the third entry which I have done, right? Say for example, I can go to FP03 and I'll take up the entries whichever I had done on the posting date basis. I give the posting date today. I'm asking the system to bring up all the entries which are posted on this date. 3 entries. First entry I posted, if I double click, and you can notice that that 0L like displayed the ledger view, you can see that other ledger there is U2 is no U2. You can see this U2 is coming here because it's automatically taken, because even after creating that also it's connected. But if you come here, this is specific to ledger posting. This one I have done the ledger posting. So this is also there. One second. Yes. So here is the ledger 0. That's the reason. I remove this and I'm taking all the entries. So one is whichever we posted, that's the ledger, first one. It's showing all the entry, all the ledgers here because it's duplicated. But another one is the ledger specific to one series. Even if I post to the ledger specific, it can be done. The why I'm showing this one here. See, we have these 4 entries here, but I have not yet covered the tables and fields. But I show you one database. I'll cover the tables and fields details in the future class. So for the time being, just observe here. I go to SE16. I take one. Don't worry, don't follow this. There's a one table is there. Here, I give these 4 entries. All these four entries from the database concept. I give this 4 entries here, 4 numbers here. Don't worry how I am doing. Just observe what I am doing. I execute this. See, except the 21. See, U1 ledger is there. There's a DR ledger, and you can see this. Come down. There's a ledgers. All the entries you can see, 105 is there, 195 is there. That 195 is already in the DR, 195 is already in the U1. But U1, this 21 is only in U1. It's not in 0L. But if I post one entry, now whatever I posted just now, like 106. If you notice here, 106 is here in the 0L, but it is also in the U1. But there is no U2. There is no U2. U2 means why? So U2 do not store in the backend. That's what I mentioned in the Excel. So it won't store. Extension ledger serves all the features of non-reading, but it won't create a duplicate entry in the database. This is the database what I'm showing here. See, first entry 106, whichever 105 I posted, and 105 and 106 and other things. So ignore this DR here. This okay. DR is not considerable. So 105 first entry I posted, the FP60. That's also there here. And 106 I posted. That's also here. But another entry which I posted, it's here. But if you notice here, 105 is there. 105 is here, but it's also here. Well, 105, sorry, 106, which is the second one we created. It's also here. But if you notice here, 106, 105. Yes, 106, right? We have posted here. Yeah. 106 is last one which we posted. That is in the UN. U1 is there. That is a non-reading ledger. It duplicates all the entries in the database. 106 is there. But U2, you don't see this. U2 only will update only if you post specifically to the ledger in the database. Ultimately, in simple words, I tell you, instead of technically. See, when you're showing in other words, I tell you, okay, for all of you. When you're looking for some, just assume that you want to show some notes, okay, to the your manager or else in school. What you do, you want to duplicate that one. You want to copy it means what? You can copy it. You can write 2 times. That's the first option when you want to report it. But if you use a carbon, it will copy automatically whatever you are doing in the top. Whatever you are doing in the top, so that you will get 2 notes. That means every time when you're doing that, it's going to use 2 pages to show the same thing what you are doing. Are you understanding what I'm doing? Or else if you go to the bill shops or if you purchase something, if they write a bill, what they do, they'll keep a carbon copy and they will keep one copy with them and another copy they will give it. That means it's going to create it's using 2 pages. It's using 2 pages for each entry. That is non-reading ledger. One entry is done, automatically that create one with a carbon, and it will store 2 pages is used. The extension ledger do the same activity that will, but it is not going to use that carbon to duplicate the same entry. It will not store. But whenever you want, it will create a copy whatever you, or like whatever you are looking. For example, that one copy only will be used for both. You can understand like that. That is what the difference between this extension and non-leading ledger, but both are same. I hope it is clear. If you are not well fully clear, I request you to watch this video again. Okay. Arshita, Nagalakshmi, Deepa.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this completes this parallel ledger. Then we'll move to parallel currency. We take a break before that.